Hello and welcome to my first ever Planet Zoo video. I hope you enjoy it, and to be fair, I hope anybody sees this as all, because I'm actually quite proud of the progress I made in this video, and really hope I can keep up this level of detail as said with the park entrance. So, what kind of park is this series gonna be? I really thought about it the last 3 years playing Planet Coaster, and I never really got an idea where I thought I could do it good enough to show it off on YouTube. But I actually, with this zoo, I've got an idea that I just wanted to try. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to keep up the detailed work I've done on the entrance, but I really hope so, because I think it turned out really great. To be fair, it turned out way better than I thought it was gonna be. So, in the background, you will see me doing some measurements with the Jeeps, which I stole from Mass Bandit, from the Planet Bro Coaster series. If you don't know that one, really check them out. They do some amazing work and have really inspired me to try a park on my own. So shout out to these guys. Let's jump to what you can see in the video right now. And I'm gonna talk a bit about what kind of project I thought of when I decided to do the series. So you will see me in the background right now placing a bunch of jeeps to get some measurements on how wide a road it would be in the park, because I'm actually going off a real existing zoo. Actually, it's my home zoo. It's pretty unknown zoo in southern Germany called the Karlsruhe Stadtgarten. But it's a very interesting zoo in that it's completely ingrained into the city. So from all sides, it's surrounded by buildings, and it has no room to expand. So they've come up with quite a few interesting concepts over the years how to use their space. And I thought I wanted to do a project that looks like this, but not do a one-to-one copy, because I wasn't sure if I could actually pull that off. So I decided I just wanted to be inspired, but in some parts I'm trying to get quite close to at least resemble the image I'm going off. So in the video you can see a cut to now there's an entrance building standing. I've unfortunately lost the footage of building it, and later there's gonna be a huge cut again because I lost footage again. I hope I'm gonna improve that in the future, but for starters, here's an entrance building, and it's quite a massive entrance building. I never really realized how big this thing is until I try to build it right now. And I mean that's not even the entire entrance. That's just the middle part. It's later gonna have buildings on the sides which make it even wider. So it's a massive entrance. And it doesn't have a parking lot in front of it. So even though I've used some jeeps to measure out how big it's gonna be, those jeeps aren't gonna stay there. Actually, no cars are gonna be there, because on the opposite side of the entrance building of this zoo is a train station. So there is no room for any parking or anything like that. So that could give you a quite good idea of how close this zoo is to everything else in the city. Because the zoo was built over 150 years ago. So a while back, it still had room, but now there's really no square foot they haven't developed yet. So it's a 100% developed park. So whenever they want to do something new, they either have to get really creative in finding single buildings that they can use that don't belong to the park, or they have to redevelop parts of the park. So you can see this building, and if you can see the name it doesn't say Karlsruhe Stadtgarten because I decided in in the light of it being a German park, as you might have recognized from the name. But to be a bit better to be pronounceable for a wider audience, I renamed it into Rhine Valley Zoo because Karlsruhe is a city on in the Rhine Valley, so I thought that that fit quite well. So it's gonna be the Rhine Valley Zoo, uh, I guess, and botanical garden because the zoo is for a huge part also a botanical garden, but it houses quite a few animals as well. And what you can see me do right now is finish up the entrance arches, and I started doing a bit of the plaza in front. You can see we do that right now because I wanted to improve the look a little bit and make guests be able to come there. So I built it a bit, but it's really not finished, and I'm gonna tackle that probably in the next episode. Uh, and I'm still thinking if I want to do the train station on the other side. Probably won't want to do that. So now you can see a huge cut in the footage because I lost a lot of footage. So here I am with two pretty side buildings, and now I'm taking one of the side buildings and making it uglier because yeah, that's something this zoo does. They have this really pretty entrance arch and these really two nice corner buildings. And what you can see me do now in the next few minutes is destroy the entire look of the thing. Because for some ungodly reason, they're not using most of the nice buildings they have right there. But instead of doing that, they built some new structures in there in like the 80s or 70s, I guess, which look really terrible. But I mean, that's something, especially zoos I've recognized have to do. Theme parks do that to some extent as well, but especially zoos don't really seem to be bothered with just leaving junk and backstage stuff up in the open. So that's something I really wanted to copy. And if you saw me write cheese, fruits, and wine on the signs, yeah, that's a thing. The building right next to it is a food shop, and that's actually what I've written right there. So the zoo really is in the city. There's no other way to put it. So here in these buildings are just regular shops that don't belong to the zoo. They're just there. So yeah, I'm just trying to emulate a bit what it looks like. On the left actually is a hotel, so I guess this could count as like a resort hotel. No, just joking. There is a hotel, but there's also the train station, so it makes sense that there would be hotels. So what I'm building now is the zoo shop. And no, the nice building you see right now isn't the zoo shop. The zoo shop is a really ugly building placed behind the arch. So I know this will look terrible. It's meant to be. And that's something I really want to focus with this project. I want to do it realistic. So realistic, a zoo doesn't have the budget to make everything nice. They have to cut corners at some points. And they really have these old buildings that were built when the zoo had the budget to do it. But later on, they just had to do a few cheap extras to, for example, build a zoo shop that wasn't a thing back then. Or maybe it wasn't the other building, they just sold the other building, so they had to build something new. So adjacent to the zoo shop is the entrance, which also looks quite terrible. Um, but you know, that's really something. That's really something I want to emphasize. You don't have unlimited budget with a zoo. You have to manage it, and the forefront of the zoo should and usually will be the welfare of the animals. So to make it look nice for visitors is usually second priority. Something you want to do and something you should do because you want visitors to come and you need them to a certain extent to care for the animals. But caring for the animals is the main priority of the zoo, and that's what they focus on. So doing a nice entrance building, not a part of the focus. So you can see me place the two information booth as like cashiers, and I realized I placed two of them, even though you will see me place one single measly entrance in a second. So maybe two people working one row is a bit much, but who cares? Um, so now I'm placing some buildings in the shop to hopefully finally make some people come in there. I don't think it works, but I'm gonna do a really small exhibit in the end, which actually will make some people come in, so it's a bit more interesting to look at. And there really is an exhibit right as you come into the park. To be fair, you don't really have to come in the park to look at that exhibit. And that's something you will see on multiple times with the zoo. There are quite some exhibits you really don't have to pay entry to see them. They're just so close to the edge of the park you can just be a fence guest and look at the animals anyways. But the zoo doesn't care about that. Especially on some of the roads, they actually intentionally build fences you can look at from the street because they don't care. They know the people that would look from the outside weren't the people that were gonna come in anyways. And the entrance to the zoo really isn't that expensive, so yeah, they really aren't bothered by that, and I think that's quite cool. Um, I think I'm gonna disable the seasons next time. Even though it's quite cool to see it in the snow, I don't think it really is a good idea in the middle of a time lapse. So now you can see me start off building the exhibit. So it's gonna be the one exhibit I feel everybody is building at the beginning of a zoo, and for good reason, because yes, that's the exhibit that's in front of the zoo. What I'm talking about, of course, it's a flamingo exhibit. I don't know why, but for some reason, a lot of zoos worldwide have agreed upon that placing flamingos right after, or in this case, next to the entrance, is the best animal you could use. So, oh well, doing that as well. Um, and then in front of it, there's like a row of water fountains. That's just, it's not really that pretty, and there's a huge basin for it that's really not needed. But I wanted to get as close to the look as I could. Um, so I tried fiddling with the exhibit borders, because I know they stop water. So you can do like underwater viewing areas. But it didn't let me build a enclosure around and then fill it with water. So it was quite sad. I was really hoping to do something like that. And I'm not sure if it was me if it was me not understanding correctly how the water is supposed to work, or the game just being confused. The water in Planet Coaster and now in Planet Zoo has always been a little fiddly. Same problem with the path system, but I don't know. You can work with it. It's fine. Um, so now you can see this weird shaped thing, and I'm trying to dig out some place for water, but I just give up for now, and it's just sand and some fountains. And to be fair, that's not that far off from what they actually do. That's yeah, yeah, it actually kind of looks like that. Um, so now I have the main focus point of the entries down. So I'm just filling it up with paths, because that's the thing with the path system. It really wants you to build certain paths that go somewhere, but on a lot of places you just have plazas where everything that isn't an exhibit or otherwise plants is just path. You just throw it down wherever it has to be and just be done with it. So try to do that as well. But actually in the park there are a lot more small paths. So there the Planko on or Planet Zoo, I guess in this case, path system should really do the trick. So I threw down some trees real fast, which already made it look way better. It's really amazing how a little bit of foliage just changes the entire look you have on an exhibit. So I built a little house for the flamingos, nothing special, and in reality there really isn't anything special. It pretty much looks exactly like this. So it's hidden away from the visitors. I never really realized the flamingos even had a house, but I guess yeah, it makes sense they do. So it's hidden away in the trees. It's been there for a while, so the trees have really overgrown it, and you're not really gonna see anything from it as a visitor. So in front there's the huge patch of grass where you can see the flamingos when you come in, and when they don't want to be seen by the guests anymore, they can just go back to their house. So just gonna place a few necessities, food, water, enrichment. I'm actually not gonna place any water in this exhibit, even though I know the game wants me to do that. But I'm trying to stay somewhat close to how it really looks like, and they don't have any water for the flamingos. So I tried it, and the flamingos are okay with. They're not happy about it, but they stay at okay even if you don't have water. So for the moment, I think I'm keeping it this way. But I might think about it if it's nice, if it's nicer, and if I could incorporate it in a way that looks right. So now I'm placing the first animals. I actually didn't plan on doing that the first episode, but by me losing like 2 hours of footage, I sort of continued building until I had at least like one proper episode together. So here are some flamingos, and that actually means there are visitors coming in. And I have to admit, it's maybe a bit ridiculous how many visitors are willing to come in and pay for a bunch of flamingos. I don't know, but I mean it's nice. And I guess from a gameplay perspective it makes sense, because You would have a hard time building a zoo in career mode with bunny. Um, sorry. Unless people would also come for like one animal, so I guess it makes sense. So yeah, I'm just right now putting down some finishing touches. Just connecting a few buildings, and then we're gonna jump in a real short real-time section where show off how the park looks right now. So see you in a second. So here we are in real time, just just looking at the park, and you can see there are quite a few people coming in and out because I mean there's just one exhibit, so they're probably gonna get bored quite fast. But just look at these flamingos. I'm still so amazed how well Frontier managed to do these animals. So what did we get done today? So one thing I wanted to show off because it wasn't really in the time lapse is this hotel. I still need to put a sign there stating that it's a hotel, but it's pretty much just the corner building, and the corner building is pretty much the same on both sides, just flipped. And for some reason they put this really weird balcony on the end, so pretty much just one more of these, and I don't know why. They did it on both sides. I don't know what they actually use it for, but I thought it would be a really cool place to have a balcony, even though you can't really see the zoo from here. I mean, you get a nice view of the train station, I guess. I don't know what they use that for. Um, so when you come in, you will greeted by at the moment some fountains, and I still need to add a lot of foliage because it still looks quite empty. And then you have this really ugly gift shop that's also still quite unfinished. Um, but you can, in theory, also use to enter. And then there's the entrance, and on the other side there's also gonna be an exit. But since I don't think you can, I don't think you can set these to be exit only. So I guess I'm just gonna put another entrance there. Um, so the first exhibit is gonna be the flamingos, and then pretty much starting from here, there's gonna be a huge lake, um, where the path kind of sneaks around, and here is gonna be a quite big hill mountain. It's more of a hill than a mountain, but you'll see it when we get there. So that's those two things pretty much take up most of like the southern third of the park. And there's some animal exhibits around the border of the park where you can look at them from some park in the park and actually from the road going here. So that's something I'm trying to do, and I hope it works out because it's quite neat in real life. And then after we pretty much do this base third, then you have the part where there's really a lot of zoo. So that's pretty much the part where the main zoo is, where the polar bears are, the giraffes are, the elephants, the big ticket item animals you come in to see. And then up here is a second lake, which is quite nice, and around it is more the botanical garden part, ended by Congress Center in the back. And there's actually a second entrance there. Um, they added later to allow you to pretty much go through the park and then leave on the other side because it's quite long and not that wide. I'm actually not sure if my version right now isn't too wide because it's quite narrow. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna leave you with this. And hopefully we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.